All right, welcome guys. Our topic today is Scrum Mastery, Journey to Growth. Let me share with you in this discussion, and I'm calling it a discussion for a reason. We're going to have an interactive activity as well. So like I said, I would appreciate it if all of us can be on video, interact, and contribute so that what we learn from this session, we can take away and apply at our works as well, and not just pass this by as another piece of information. Yeah, so highly recommend that. All right, let's get started. Let me quickly introduce myself. I am Simran. I'm a professional Scrum trainer with Scrum.org. I've trained about 1,000 professionals and leaders in multiple certification workshops, more than 200 certification workshops that I have conducted. And I also happen to be the co-founder of a young company called Agile for Growth. We're a management consulting company focused on helping your organizations be agile with Scrum. You can find my coordinates here. I am pretty active on LinkedIn. You can see from my activity feed as well. Feel free to connect with me. Yeah, that's about me. Here's what we're going to discuss today. Our agenda for the next 30 minutes. We'll start with asking a question to ourselves. Well, we call ourselves as change agents, as Scrum Masters. Where should this change really start? We'll introduce ourselves to a Scrum Mastery canvas that I have designed along with my partner, and the 8 growth areas that it refers to. We'll be doing a group activity that is in relation to this Scrum Mastery canvas, and then discussing what's next. There might be some goodies coming up. We'll do a quick closing and open the floor for any questions. Excited, everyone? Awesome. Let's get started. Like I said, I do a lot of certification workshops, primarily focused around the Scrum Master accountability. And a lot of times, participants who come to my workshop, when they come to the workshop, the kind of mindset they bring in is, well, I'm here to learn more about the Scrum Master accountability so that I can learn about the Scrum Master accountability and apply these rules on my team. Rather than thinking it from the perspective of a Scrum Master, well, how can I apply it myself first? What are those behaviors that need to change? What is a different way of thinking? Am I applying it in my own context? Can I apply these exact rules that Scrum talks about on myself to become a better Scrum Master? We're going to discuss exactly this during the session. Introducing to you the Scrum Mastery Canvas. The Scrum Mastery Canvas that I have designed along with my partner helps us as Scrum Masters self-evaluate ourselves and use that self-evaluation as a means to design our own growth in our journey towards Scrum Mastery. This Scrum Mastery Canvas has 8 growth areas identified, applied on the self. It's a self-reflection on ourselves. And well, when do we use it? We use it at regular intervals. It's not a one-time effort. Rather, it is a means which you can apply on yourselves multiple times. I recommend about monthly, but that's not a prescription, right? But that is what is going to help us evaluate where was I last month versus where am I right now? that helps us have this opportunity to see if we are headed in the right direction. Let's discuss each of these 8 areas. But before that, let's see what the canvas looks like. So here are the 8 areas in the Scrum Mastery canvas. If you would like, you can download the Scrum Mastery canvas here for yourself, for your self-evaluation. I would also recommend if anyone wants to take a quick screen print, a screenshot, because this will be required during our activity as well. The 8 areas of growth identified are purpose, mindset, Scrum values, empiricism, skills, interventions, areas of service, and outcomes. And if you observe this canvas itself, the questions that are related to each of these growth areas include a keyword here. And that keyword is I. So for example, let's speak about purpose. The questions we want to ask ourselves is, what is the sense of purpose that I have drawn myself from Scrum? What interests me to be a Scrum Master? Let me share with you something. I started my corporate journey as a business analyst. I was a business analyst, senior business analyst, business systems analyst, and all of that in the beginning. The closest I could be to Scrum was this opportunity of me being a product owner. Yeah. But that wasn't my internal calling. When I learned about Scrum, my internal calling was to be a Scrum Master, because I saw a lot of value, a lot of excitement, a lot of energy in the Scrum Master accountability itself. Serving others, creating a team that can address any complex situation. A team where team members trust each other, they can self-manage, make their own decisions, have a certain level of autonomy so that they are able to help each other navigate through any complex situation. That was my calling. That was my purpose for being a Scrum Master. So what we want to do is identify what's our internal calling to be a Scrum Master. How does that relate to us? Why Scrum? Our next growth area is the mindset. Do you know of anyone who has been in a comfort zone all their life and has grown? Those are two opposites put together. The moment we're talking about ourselves as Scrum Masters, as change agents, we are the ones who are actually living this value, this behavior of being comfortable with discomfort, because that's where growth will begin. It's an opportunity for us to ask a question to ourselves. Do I look at failures as opportunities to grow, as opportunities to learn from them? Do I look at feedback as something that is going to make me better, or it's the other way around? Do other people's success inspire me, make me a better person? The two questions we want to ask ourselves as Scrum Masters with this growth area is, how can I seek early and regular feedback about my performance, my contribution as a Scrum Master? And well, if I did receive a feedback in the past, what have I done about it? Did I take action? Let's look at our third growth area. Our third growth area are the Scrum values. Heard about the 5 Scrum values? Focus, openness, respect, commitment, and courage. If I, as a Scrum Master, know those 5 Scrum values, I have educated the team members about those 5 Scrum values, but I don't live them. Guess what the team is going to do? Are they going to do what you ask them to do, or are they going to do what they see you do? We talk about courage. Are we, as Scrum Masters, exhibiting this courage against bureaucracy, against hierarchy, against the status quo? The questions we are asking ourselves as Scrum Masters is, how can I become the role model of living these Scrum values? Which of the Scrum values do I need to get better at? What are the efforts I am putting in order to get better at this Scrum value? What behaviors would help me exhibit this Scrum value? Scrum value as our third growth area. Let's talk about empiricism. Empiricism, which is at the very core of the Scrum framework, with the 3 pillars of transparency, inspection, and adaptation. Am I, as a Scrum Master, creating transparency about the value I create? Does everybody on the team know how I am contributing to create value for the team? Am I willing to inspect and adapt based on the value I have created, or the way others look at my value creation? What will make me a better person today? What are the decisions that I can make today? What are the changes in my behavior that I can make today that will make me a better Scrum Master today than I was yesterday? That's empiricism. Trying to make better decisions based on what has happened in the past and based on facts and data. How am I becoming a better Scrum Master? Our next growth area is the skills. We have a blog on our website, agileforgrowth.com/blog, that talks about 21 skills of a Scrum Master. Have I looked at those? How do I fare with respect to these skills? Which ones of those am I a pro at? Which one of those are the ones that I need to work on a little bit? What am I doing in order to get better at these skills? These are the questions we would want to ask ourselves in order to become a better Scrum Master with respect to this area of skills. Our next area of growth, interventions. We speak about the Scrum Master being a coach, a mentor, somebody who teaches and facilitates. Let me share with you that becoming a first level coach, a certified coach, is a multi-year journey. Do we take it that seriously? Am I working on any of these areas of service or any of these interventions? How effectively am I using my coaching skills? Have I identified what am I strong at? What am I weak at? And what efforts would I need to take in order to get better at my weaker areas? The next, we talk about areas of service. If we've read the Scrum Guide very carefully, we know that the Scrum Master is serving the Scrum team, the product owner, and the organization. Am I doing justice to all 3 levels? Am I serving the organization? Are stakeholders feeling served by my services? How can I get better at serving these people? Have I asked for inputs? Those are the things that a Scrum Master is trying to evaluate. Our last area of growth, the outcomes. What are the outcomes that I have achieved as a Scrum Master in the past? What is the next outcome I'm trying to achieve? Have I made it clear to everyone on the team what am I going to try and achieve the next? All of these questions to the self, to the Scrum Master himself or herself. Yeah. That introduces our 8 growth areas. Well, now that we have introduced ourselves to these growth areas, let's head to our activity. Let me introduce what we are going to do. Here is our group activity for the next 7 minutes. I'm going to invite you into breakout rooms for 7 minutes. When you see the pop-up for an invitation to go to the breakout room, please note your breakout room number because that will determine which growth area you're discussing. In your breakout room, within your smaller groups, you're trying to answer the key questions that were addressed in that particular growth area. Discuss within your team what are those answers that are coming to mind based on your growth area, and identify at least one actionable improvement item for yourself as a better Scrum Master on your journey to Scrum Mastery. If you are invited to breakout room number 1, the growth area that you will be discussing will be purpose. If you are invited to breakout room number 2, we'll discuss mindset. Breakout room number 3 will discuss Scrum Values. Breakout room number 4, empiricism, and so on. Yeah. If everyone followed the instructions in the chat window, please give me yes, so that I can initiate the breakout rooms. Awesome. All right, so I'm inviting you into breakout rooms for 7 minutes. When we come back, I'm going to invite you to share any insights that you would like to share or anything that you'd like to ask about that growth area. Here you go for the next 7 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had an opportunity to discuss this at least with one person. And this came out to be a discussion on that question. Any insights that you'd like to share or anything that came out of that discussion? Anyone? Want to share it with the forum?
I will start. This is Ratambra, and I was blessed to have Vivek in this breakout room with me, and it was very nice 5-6 minutes spent because we were talking about skills, so our area of focus was skills, and we discussed as to, for my takeaway, to be a better Scrum Master, I thought of focusing on facilitation, because that is one skill that I feel sometimes, at least I find it challenging, as to when there is a heated discussion going on and we know that the outcome is very important, and when to intervene, when to stop, or when to remind of the time boxes and stuff like that. So my takeaway today from the session was from Vivek, that sometimes it is good to, not sometimes, it is good to lay out the agenda, highlight the outcome, and already underline the time boxing or the timeline, so that from the beginning of the call, the expectation is set, and also everybody understands that we are here for some outcome. And so the meeting should have an outcome also. And sometimes it is so. The hint from Vivek was good, or the tip from Vivek was that I should sometimes allow some of the other team members to be a facilitator. So I think it was very good. So thank you, Vivek. I could not thank you in the session. The session closed before I could say thanks. So here is my thank you to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Ritambara. And I'm hoping that I'm saying that name right. And Vivek, for sharing that with us. And for all of us, if you observe, when Ritambara was saying that, she spoke about skills. She spoke about one of the interventions as facilitation. She spoke about creating transparency about the agenda. She spoke about the courage to share that upfront and call out when the time box is over. One of the 5 Scrum values. So are we saying that these growth areas are not interrelated or mutually exclusive? No, we're not saying that. But each growth area is going to give us an opportunity to evaluate ourselves as a Scrum Master. Anyone else who wants to quickly share what they came up with?
I think I had an opportunity to speak with Manoj. So I think thanks, Manoj, for sharing that experience. I think he moved from private sector to the non-profit organization. So what challenges he's facing and how he has to show as a servant leader, what is that he needs to do. Means it was a short discussion because I was alone when we started late. So that's the discussion that we had.
More to come. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, Kashi. Thanks, Manoj, for sharing your experiences in that breakout room. And also, let's respect the time box of this workshop as well, this session. Thanks, Kashi. I appreciate your inputs. Yes. All right. Well, now that we know this is a Scrum Mastery canvas, what's coming next? I would invite all of you to download the Scrum Mastery Canvas. I've already shared the link with you in the chat. Here it is one more time. Fill all the growth areas on the Scrum Mastery Canvas and do revisit the Scrum Mastery Canvas, the one that you filled every few months, at least every month, so that you're able to see how better have you been a Scrum Master in the last 1 month. Yeah. Here's a goodie. For people who download the Scrum Mastery Canvas, fill it in and share it on LinkedIn. Thoroughly filled, that's generating some engagement, and you've shared some insights that you got when you were thinking, you were answering these questions from the Scrum Mastery Canvas. You get a chance to win a Scrum book. And that book will be from Agile for Growth. That will be Agile for Growth sponsored book. So please feel free to download it, fill it in, tag me in Agile for Growth, and get a chance to win the Scrum Mastery, Scrum book from Agile for Growth. Awesome. Just to make sure that we are not keeping it open forever, please fill the canvas in by 7th Feb so that we are able to time box that as well. All right. Let's end this with a quote. Yesterday, I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today, I'm wise, So I'm changing myself as a Scrum Master. That's a quote from Rumi. And I think this applies pretty much to everyone, Scrum Masters or not. Here are some resources available on our blog. Feel free to download those resources from agileforgrowth.com/blog. And that's everything that I had to share. If you have any questions, please feel free to call them out. If you want to just unmute yourself, ask your question, feel free to do that. If you prefer to type the question in the chat window, that's okay too. I'm going to stop sharing and see your wonderful faces. Go for it.
Thank you, Simran.